Disclaimer: I only have 400 hours of playtime on DBD, roughly 100 of which were spent playing the Plague. Also, I play very casually and I'm not a high rank or MMR player, so things I say in this video might not apply at all to high level play. That being said, enjoy the video. So, you've heard of the skill that apparently ate the cake that has been sitting at the back of the fridge for a month. The Plague. The Vommy Mommy isn't the most popular pick, but she 100% deserves a spot in your heart, and today I'll show you why. The Plague is your standard 115% movement speed killer with a standard tear radius of 32 meters. However, she's the second tallest killer in the game, which makes her easy to spot over a couple loops. Her power lets you puke on survivors to infect them. After a certain threshold, they permanently get the broken status effect and start coughing and vomiting a lot. Note that you can't see their infection meter, but all survivors can. Their infection levels increase on their own while sprinting and performing actions. You can also puke on various objects to infect them for 35 seconds, infecting any survivor that touches them during that time. Fully broken survivors infect everything they interact with. That sickness sure is contagious. But survivors have an option to get rid of the sickness at pools of devotion. 6 of these sick that's a joke. Looking fountains spawn on the map, one of them being corrupted at the start of the match. Survivors can cleanse themselves at a pool to remove their sickness and heal themselves, but the pool will become corrupted and can't be used by survivors anymore. Now, the Plague can slurp up the red corruption juice from a corrupted pool to change her power dramatically for 60 seconds. Her movement speed drops to 110%, but her vomit turns red and injures survivors instead of infecting them. This also comes with 2 smallish downsides. By slurping from a pool, a specific map-wide sound plays, basically announcing, "Attention gamers, I have ingested the forbidden Kool-Aid and am ready to engage in one-on-one spitting duels for the next 60 seconds. And the tiny detail that any type of stun instantly removes your red ouchie puke. So I really advise you to stay clear of pellets. Don't get cocky, play it safe. Slurping from a corrupted pool makes it clean again, and if all pools are corrupted, the Plague will gain Corrupt Purge wherever she is, and all pools become clean. We don't know how, but they do. With all that info out of the way, let's talk about how to get good. WM2. This is probably the first strategy a new Plague player will use. Just run at people, puke on them until they're broken, and then slap them to the ground. Pick them up, hook them, and repeat with the next survivor. Maybe you'll get Corrupt Purge at some point from people cleansing as a cool bonus, but you never actually slurp the juice. Works well enough, right? Well, while it might work against newer survivals, you're only utilizing roughly 5% of the Plague's full potential. There's so much more to her power than just infecting people for the easy broken status effect. So, about this infecting objects and Corrupt Purge thing, huh? This is the point where you really should start investing the less than 2 seconds it takes to infect gens you're patrolling. Because if you're puking on gens and nobody's infected and someone touches them, they get infected, and you can see it on the HUD in the bottom left. And as the match progresses, 2, 3, maybe even 4 fountains are becoming corrupted, and as soon as "Insert tracking perk of your choice here" pops up, you know what time it is. This is it. This is the moment your brain starts releasing dopamine. So slurp that fountain and show him who's in charge. You have 1 minute to cause as much destruction as possible. Or do you? There's a reason why I mentioned 3 or 4 corrupted fountains. 3 minutes of constant dominance is insane. In the right hands, that is. Because the ability to vomit doesn't help much in certain situations. Tight loops with high walls are the bane of a Plague's existence. The Plague excels in wide open areas with few or short line of sight blockers. Like, probably a lot of killers. The projectile nature of her vomit makes it possible to puke over quite a few loops, even though it requires a bit of practice. As a new little baby Plague, you get to choose between some really good perks. Corrupt Intervention is a great perk for early game. Infectious Fright encourages a snowball heavy playstyle, which is a lot of fun. And Dark Devotion exists too. Just in case you want to try something different. Since the Plague basically counters an entire arsenal of perks and the entire mechanic of healing, survivors are not wasting time to heal up. Cleansing yourself at a fountain takes less than half the time of getting healed normally. which is why you'll find survivors sitting more on gens than against other killers. The main slaughter mechanic just isn't present. Which is why by far your biggest friend as a plague will be a perk by the hag, Hex Ruin. Yeah, that perk that used to be meta and got reworked. This is mainly because healthy survivors usually don't want to touch infected gens. If you would, let's say for the sake of the math, shoot someone off a gen that was basically 100% done by puking on it. The survivor walks away and the gen starts regressing. With the 35 seconds of Ruin Tier 3 doing its thing, the gen will regress from basically 100% at a rate of 0.5% progress per second. That means the gen goes back to 82.5% completion, which saves valuable seconds in the match. And that's assuming they go back to the gen as soon as it stops being disgusting. Perks that help in chase like Bamboozle, Enduring or Spirit Fury are a very good choice, since you'll be a normal M1 killer most of the time. But personally, I wouldn't run Enduring and Spirit Fury, since a stun removes your Corrupt Purge, and that's not very nice. Other than that, information perks all the way. Discordance, Whispers, Infectious Fright, Hex Retribution, Barbecue, I am all ears and whatnot. All those are your helpers to go getting to those mask-wearing, pandemic-evading, social distancing survivors. As a new plague, only having her perks and base killer perks, I would recommend a build consisting of Corrupt Intervention, Infectious Fright, Bitter Murmur, and Whispers. Another big part of a killer's arsenal are their add-ons. And there's one of them that I love with a big passion. And it's Rubbing Oil. Sure. Odds the ultimate epic super duper killer main. Puts that add-on into the B tier and not A or S, but from my still limited experience, a combination of Rubbing Oil and an emetic or cooldown add-on is really strong. But after all, nothing beats the apples. Having more corrupted fountains at the start of the game is insane, especially when you go against survivors who aren't very happy with cleansing. But stay clear of the amulets. They increase the duration of your corrupt purge, but not by much. It's not even close to being enough to make a difference. Currently, my main build looks like this. At the ranks or MMR rating I play at, survivors cleanse quite frequently, which is why I don't use the apple add-ons very often. But let me guess, you want something experimental? Something unorthodox, so to speak. Play with your food plus the Worship Tablet add-on. The Worship Tablet increases your movement speed while you have the Ouchie Puke to 117.5%, and with 3 Pray with your food stacks, you become 132.5% movement speed Omega Huntress, a real force to be reckoned with. Normal Puke is boring. Just slap on these perks and these add-ons and play like a normal M1 killer and use your pools at strategic moments. This was not my idea, and there's a video by Autofu linked in the iCard in the top right of your screen, showcasing this gimmicky but still really interesting build. The Useless Survival perk build is basically a staple of meme builds. Now, we have one for the Plague as well. Sloppy Butcher, Chorophobia, Nurse's Calling, Forced Penance. Combined with the 2 strongest emetics so you won't even think about using M1 on healthy survivors. This is the peak of Plague memeage and a great challenge for every Vommy Mommy enthusiast. Forever Freddy, with vomit, now less scary. That's it. That's the build. We're done here. In conclusion, the Plague is a force to be reckoned with. She requires a decent amount of mechanical skill and game sense, but this expertise is rewarded with very satisfying gameplay, if you're willing to put in the effort. For me, she strikes the perfect balance between being easy to learn, but challenging to master. I really hope you found this guide, or info video, or whatever, at least somewhat helpful, and if you're a Plague main with more expertise than me, feel free to share some of your knowledge in the comments. If you liked the video, feel free to give it a like. If you didn't like it, leave a dislike and please tell me why. I need feedback in order to improve. You can see me live every Saturday at 2 PM Central European Summertime, that's 8 AM EST, playing DBD and showcasing my skills in action. All my socials can be found under Moodle.org. If you want to see some content with way too much effort put into it, please consider subscribing. It helps a lot. That being said, have a nice rest of your day, and happy killing.